through the presentation with me, and just first of all 250 pages, which can take him 6 hours, but he's going to condense it into the 90 minutes, and he translated all of it from French to English, which took him many hours, and I think he'll probably explain that. So a lot of great stuff in this. I know you're going to enjoy it. I'm trying to share the presentation. You can take pictures if you like of certain slides that jump out at you, so feel free to do that. And then you're going to introduce yourself, but we're really honored and excited. And those that I think you all know Olympic Leonardo on the women's side, an absolute powerhouse. I think we've won how many French titles? A lot. That's a good answer. I think they're the Bayern Munich of women's football. So, and then if you're Americans, I'm sure you all know that Katerina Macario, who was with them, just signed for Chelsea. Unfortunately, is not going to play the World Cup. But she's played at Stanford from California, and he's been working with them. So I'm going to get out of the way and let Julien speak. You're in for a real treat. So, ladies and gentlemen, Julien Legrand. Premion? Vice Premion. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Hi everyone, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure for me to be here and to share a nice moment with you. So I just arrived today at the San Francisco airport. Yes, I had a call with David about 3 or 4 months ago to prepare this intervention and to be ready to share my football experience in France. So first of all, I'm not coming as an Olympic Lyonnais employee, and I'm not representing the soccer in the one-way soccer in my club or the soccer way, French soccer way. Just my experience. As I can imagine, also in USA, several different kinds of coaches, and we can represent our country by coaching. So I will speak with you about some subjects. First of all, maybe just a quick presentation. So I have been working in Olympique Lyonnais, so in Lyon in France, for the 12 years. I had several positions in the club. Right now I'm the team manager of our women's team. It's more an administrative and logistic position, but I'm still a coach in my mind. Before that, I run the youth development program for girls in our academy, and most of my presentation will be about my job as a coach for the youth development program. And before that, I was during 5 seasons the coach of the reserve team, so girls between 17 years old to 23. So first I will just show you a little video of what's Olympique Lyonnais. It's a French pro soccer club, of course. So just the facilities first.
À l'est de la métropole lyonnaise, OL Valley est un lieu de vie au cœur d'un site de 45 hectares ouvert 365 jours par an. Ce lieu de vie incarne la vision de Jean-Michel Aulas, président de l'Olympique Lyonnais depuis 1987, qui a œuvré à la construction d'un business model combinant sport et divertissement unique en Europe. Vaisseau amiral du projet, le Groupama Stadium, primé pour son esthétique et sa technologie valorisant l'expérience spectateur et l'ambiance dans le stade, accueille les rencontres de l'Olympique Lyonnais et des grands événements sportifs internationaux depuis 2016. D'une capacité de 60 000 places, l'enceinte est dotée de 8 000 m² d'espace réceptif modulable. Symbole de la gastronomie locale, le stade héberge une brasserie Bocuse, ouverte tous les jours. OL Valley accueille également le centre d'entraînement mixte des équipes professionnelles de l'Olympique Lyonnais. la All-in Tennis Academy, une académie de tennis internationale portée par Julien Legrand, ouvrira ses portes en 2023. Desservie quotidiennement par une ligne de tramway, OL Valley héberge un centre de loisirs de 23 000 m², proposant une multitude d'activités de sport et divertissement, dont une vague de surf indoor, de la réalité virtuelle, un bowling, du padel et une offre de restauration additionnelle. Complété par une boutique officielle, le musée du club, un hôtel 3 étoiles, un centre médical et des immeubles de bureaux, OL Valley s'installe désormais comme une destination incontournable. Ultime volet de cette vision, la LDLC Arena viendra élargir l'offre en événements sportifs et musicaux indoor. Cette salle de spectacle, intégrant les technologies dernière génération et s'inscrivant dans une démarche respectueuse de l'environnement, ouvrirait ses portes fin 2023 pour confirmer l'attractivité de Lyon et de la région Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes au cœur des grands événements internationaux.
Okay, so I will just speak now about how female soccer is developed in France. So, as you know, France is a little country. We are very late in the process of development for women's soccer, and but we are increasing step by step. Today in France we have 163,000 female players. It increases 10% each 6 years. No, every year. So in France, just if you have something to keep in mind, that to develop women and girls soccer, we have 3 options. Girls can play in a girls team and compete against girls team. She can play also in a girls team and to compete against boys team. That's what we do in Olympic Lyonnais. And for some of them, they play in a boys team to compete against a boys team. It depends on their level, their desire, but also where they live. Because when they live in the countryside, far from the cities and the good clubs, it's a solution to play in a boys team. So that is for girls between 6 years old to 16 years old. At 16 years old, they have to play the girls team. The organization of competition in France, so the first division is 12 clubs. So the third place will be able to play the Champions League for the next season. Then the second division, and then 2 groups for the third division. And the third division, we have 1 group in the north, 1 group in the south. These 3 divisions are the national divisions. Then the country is divided in 13 regions, maybe like states for you. So you have 2 levels in each region. And the country is also divided in 100 districts. And so you have also 2 levels of competition in this district. So in total you have 7 different levels. It's for adult soccer. So now I will just show you a video about our academy. It's in French. I will try to give you, tell you, translate you the most important things through the video. The club did it 5 years ago with 2 players who were 10 years old as these players. They are still in the club. They are 15 or 16 right now. And so they will present the academy.
J'ai 10 ans et je suis milieu de terrain à l'Olympique Lyonnais.
chapter is about the foundation process in Olympic Lyonnais.
Avant Nagui, il y avait tant d'autres. Dans les années 70, la génération de
It
Bernard
starts
a
from
porté la coupe Bombardella.
more than 50 years. And Olympic Lyonnais is well known in Europe for the quality of the youth development program. For boys first, the first 35 years, but now also for the girls. So these guys are the old generation, 90s.
L'OL a formé des internationaux en pagaille. Sidney Karim Benzema.
So the most famous one, of course, is Karim Benzema. And so the players were formed during the years of 2000. So the main aim of the club is to develop, to form soccer players, boys and girls, and to play in our first team, but also to sell it for other top European clubs. And so now this is the new wave, the last 5 years. And it's 12 or 15 years, for 12 or 15 years, it's also a process with a transfer forward to the girls' development. So 7 years ago, the president decided to recreate a new academy, a mixed academy for boys and girls with the same program, on the same facilities, and to share a lot of skills to all the kids. So originally it comes from boys, but as it explained between the two kids, now it's also for girls. So this is a presentation of the OL Academy. The directors, boys directors. So it starts at 7 years old for boys and girls. So also some accommodation for boys and girls between 15 years old to 18 years old, who are coming from, not from the region of Lyon. So we are 365 players, boys and girls together, around 40 coaches. So now I'll speak about the girls process. So we start at U7. We are between 8 and 10 players per generation. It's the École de football is the elementary school Pre-formation, it's mid school. Formation, it's high school, I think. And college or post-formation. It's an elite group to make the link with the professional team. At the academy, it's around 120 players. And in the professional group, we have 27 players. So as I told you, it's a mixed academy, and I would like just to let you know which kind of, how mixity is illustrated in our academy. First, for the pitches, the same pitches, same locker rooms, not the same, but the same place. And the school, we have partnership with schools, and so boys and girls are going to the same school, and different kind of activities together with OL Foundation. Training together, so every Monday evening for the elementary programs, so we have the boys group, and so our women or girls players, we put them in the good level group. So our top players are going at the same age group. Maybe the five years with less 1 year group, and rest of the group is 2 years below. So we put the girls where they have to be to improve well. Because it was one fear of the boys' staff. Okay, we depending with. Sorry. Yes. Okay. So one fear about that was about the boys' coaches. They say, okay, we will train together with the girls, but maybe it will be good for girls, or maybe too hard for girls. But the boys will not. It will not good for them for their progression. So that's real. We have to take care about that. So that's why we analyze the level of each girl and we put in the good group. So it works, and it's also an exchange with the coaches, because they have to work together to create on Monday evening a training session for the group. So it helps also to develop, to work together. And so we had some positive aspects that the boys coaches told us that the girls are more focused, and they bring their focusing and their on the training session, because little boys maybe move a lot and are not enough focus. And the boys bring their intensity to girls. So, and socially, it was nice also to do that, for the education, boys and girls can go to school together, they can train together, and it was a nice experience. So they do that every Monday. So we have special process for our top players. The top player of each generation, most of the time, trains regularly all the week with in a boys group, and at the end of the week, she can play with the girls team, also with the boys team. And so what is nice is to be able to adapt the process for each kid, especially for the top level kids. And another example is about the pro women's team. Sometimes as they all play in their national team, when they are FIFA windows, we have only 10 players, the young players. We asked the youth 16 boys team to come at the training center, and we do a training session with 10 pro women players and maybe 12 U16 boys together. And it's quite new. In France, not a lot of clubs do that. First, you have to have a female player who have such level to be able to play with top level U16 boys. So this is an example of an exercise run by the female staff with boys and girls. Okay. So now we'll speak about methodology in Olympic learning. So there are 5 pillars in Olympic learning, and so all the coaches have to know it and to work with it. The first pillar is the OL DNA. Then the second one is systemic approach. Then the tactic periodization, the game position, or the position game, and the OL principle of game. So, so we have a methodology cell, 11 members, 1 meeting a week, to manage and to control the education at the academy. And so the question is why to have a methodology in a club? So it's an internal and continuous training to increase the human resources skills. So of course they are all diploma from the French Federation, but when you have a diploma when you have 20, this methodology in the club helps you to stay in formation during all the seasons. And also it's also a way to integrate everyone into a project and to develop a sense of belonging. It helps also to have openness and exchanges about what we do with kids on the pitch during training. And to stay in motion too, because when we learn something during a formation at the French Federation, you have to stay aware about what is new and not to stay only in what you learn. And also the methodology is important for the control of the teachings, because we have a lot of coaches and we have also to be sure that the knowledge is good. And also to help coaches to improve about their pedagogy, because methodology is also to improve the pedagogy. So I will not speak about the methodology of Olympic learning. I will speak how I work in the club with the OL methodology, but how I translated that to my team. And that's the main important, because it's not, it's good to speak about methodology and big principle, but how, for coaches is good, but how you translate that for girls who are 13 and 14 years old, and how, so that's, I will present you now my work. So it's a slide, it's a lot of slides, but me, I did 5 videos of 10 minutes each one, and I sent them to the player. I sent to the players 5 movies at the beginning of the season. So the first movie is about the values, the DNA, and the objectives. The second one is about the position game and systems. The third one is offensive animation. The fourth one, defensive animations. And the fifth and the last one, stop phases. So first, the values, DNA, and objective. So first of all, they have to understand what are the values, and where are they, and how we work in Olympic career. So, first of all, the four values of Olympic career are excellence, respect, humility and commitment, but I guess even for adults, but for kids, just to write that on the wall, it's not enough. Maybe they know the word, but are you able to explain what does it mean? Maybe some adults to be able to make a definition of commitment. What's commitment? So I did an exercise at the beginning of the season in September. They have to create their own definition that every player will understand. So the sentence that you can read below commitment is their sentence. And it's an exercise to take for you the definition is made about by the player, so it helps to understand it better than just to give you words. So we did that for commitment, for excellence, the respect. So maybe it's important to start with that exercise, and you will see after, because there's a link between that and there's a subject. So the playing philosophy, so it's me when I was younger, 7 years ago, without my idea, and it was with U10 and U11 at this period. So combining content to result, that's the main objective. I tell to my player that yes, we want to have the ball and to keep the ball, but it's not enough. The main goal is to look for the opportunity to imbalance in order to score. Because the most difficult in sport is to imbalance or unbalance, I don't know how to say, the defensive line. And then to be able to recover the ball in an active and coordinated way, and also the attitude. It is the three main objectives. So the DNA, OL DNA is these four pillars for the playing philosophy. It's intensity, love of the game, attack, and surpassing. So I start with OL methodology, but I decline it to my team. So I adapt the language. So maybe it's 50% of the club and it's 50% of my perception as a coach, as my client. But also I have to, it's for only my team, for girls who have 30 to 40. So, and that's what is interesting in the methodology. So to have a link between all the team in the club, to be able to say we have an identity, but also we can give a process and to a coach and say you have to do like that without your own opinion, and with it doesn't care if it's kids who are 6 years old or 16 years old. I think it doesn't work. And if you want to create the commitment of your coaches, probably they have to also to have their own perceptions. And I believe that if one player has a new coach every season with the same philosophy or philosophy, but also with the diversity of each coach, he will learn better with several coaches during his pathway. So the intensity is physically but also tactically. Think ahead and to think and to make choice fast. Love the games, to love not also the games but also to enjoy the training session, but also as you love the game, you practice alone or with your friends a lot, especially during the COVID, because it was during the COVID period. So we did a special work during this period with autonomous practice, with a lot of videos and things like that. So to attack, to have the ball, to be able to unbalance and to finish, but also I will try to translate it in English. I say to my players, we are attacking every time. We have the ball, so we are attacking opponent goal, and when we don't have the ball, we have to attack the opponent position. So we are attacking always. To surpass oneself. And so the objective, individual and collective objectives. So about the behavior first. About it's your own project to develop your skill. To being a competitor. Okay. So this is the first video, like a base to understand what attitude we are waiting for, and so now we will speak more about soccer. But the first chapter is important because it will cross all the other chapters. So the position game and systems. So we want, so we are teaching them soccer, but we don't only want to make them practice and enjoy and play soccer. They can do that by their home, at school, or with their friends. But we have also the responsibility to learn them more than just to play soccer. So we have to let them know a lot of things about tactical aspects. But for youth 13 and youth 14 teams, so I have to adapt the words and the principle to this kind of public. So easy, but they have to know that on the pitch we have 5 corridors. So these 5 ones. So we are creating a common lexical, and that every player understood. And so the 5 different levels of position. So the high level, and I showed them that it's behind the defender line, the middle high level. So it will help us when we speak about the position. When for example, you have to be set in the low middle level, they will all know where is it. Okay. So the position game. So the position game, I explained them that it was a form of play in which the fundamental principle is the search for security, and in which players recognize the spaces and their function at all times. So I was explaining with these words that you have to be at a good position, and you have to understand why you have to be at this position in this situation. And you have to know your role, and you have also to know where have to be your teammates and why. Because I start to explain them that during a game of 1 hour, you will have the ball in your feet, maybe less than 1 minute, to do a control, to do a pass, to dribble the ball. And it's a difficult statistic to understand and to hear that for a kid that's doing a game of 60 minutes, you will touch the ball only maybe less than 1 minute. So, what will you do for the 59 other minutes? We will tell you. So, 3 different spaces, the intervention space, so the player who has the ball, easy. The mutual aid space, so it's a space around the player who has the ball, and so the cooperation space. So, depending on where you are, if you have the ball, if you are close to the player who has the ball, or if you are far from the player who has the ball. So, 3 different kinds of areas. And so, now the player's roles. So, when you play, before to have the ball, you have to think ahead. Then when you have the ball, you have to intervene, and after, you have to continue. So the idea is to tell them, before to receive the ball, you have to be ready to receive the ball. When you have the ball, you have to use those skills. And when you lose the ball, or you give the ball, or you shoot, after, you have something to do. And it's a cycle. So, you have 5 different roles during the game. You can be the ball carrier. You can be the immediate receiver. You can be a median receiver, depending the distance you are between the ball and your position. You can be a fixer, or you can be a compensator. And so, now, remember the 3 spaces that we define on the pitch. Depending on your position, you have this kind of role. So it takes a little time and some weeks to understand, but normally when I stop the game and I'm asking to the player over there, okay, in this situation the ball is here, you are over there at maybe 30 meters, what's your role? And so she has to be able to say to me, oh, I'm a fixer. I'm a fixer because I'm far, because I want that an opponent is close to me. And if it's close to me, it opens space for my teammates. So I fix one opponent. I'm also a compensator. If we lose the ball, I have to be ready to go back to help to defend. And also a median receiver. A median receiver, it's a player that you will find but not in one pass. Immediate receiver, you can find him in one pass. Median receiver, you can find him in 2 passes. 1, 2. So I'm far from the ball, but I have 3 roles. This is an example. And each player has to know their roles. Moving in 2 seconds, maybe I will have another role. I will be the ball carrier. But just to create a base with a common lexic, and not just to have players who are watching the game as a spectator, and so just they are ready just when they receive the ball and when they have the ball in their feet. Oh yes. So the ball carrier can also be a fixer. That's nice. I have the ball. You are all my opponents. I will drive the ball, and if I'm driving the ball until you, I will fix you. And so it's my choice to fix you, and I want you to stay here, and so I will be able to make a pass. Yes. And another example. Now I have the ball, there's a gate in front of me, an interval in front of me. You are here and he is here, and I'm not fixing you, I'm fixing the space. And what will happen? You don't move, okay, I'm free. Or maybe both of you will come to me, and so I will fix you both, two players alone, and I will fix two players here. And so then I will be able to give the pass because it will create space behind you. So different kind of situation. So the aim of the position game is to create superiority in the pitch, on the pitch. And there are different kinds of superiority. Here are three kinds of superiority. First of all, number superiority is to do, for example, a 1-2 against one opponent. Normally you will succeed and you will go ahead. A qualitative superiority, most of the time, it could be athletic superiority. I run faster than I'm a wing, I play on the wing, a winger. I play on the right side, for example, and I'm very fast. I know that I run faster than my direct opponent. So that's a qualitative superiority. So I have to know it, and my teammates have to know that if they give me the ball forward in the good space, I will run faster. But it can be also technical superiority. For example, if I have one player who is very good in dribbling, you know. So you have to. If you know that you have a player who is faster than the other opponents, if you know you have a defender who is very good and even whatever the opponents come, you will want anytime, you have to know where are your strengths and where are the weaknesses of the opponents too. So to create qualitative superiority and also positional superiority. So positional superiority is maybe one of the most important, but also not so easy to explain to young kids. The positional superiority is, of course, to be at a good position, but it changes every second. So I can be at a good position here, but as all the players are moving, the next seconds, I have to move to take another again the best position. So, for example, at this example, why the red guy between the four blue players is well positioned? Because he is far from each opponent, and if I make a pass to him, to her, the two first players will be eliminated by one pass, and she will be able to turn when you will receive the ball. David, I can use the paper? David, it's okay. You can use it. I will give just an example. The most important one, but also the most difficult one. I think it's good. So, my player is like this here, and so this is the defensive line for opponents, defender, and for midfielder. And so, if I have the ball, the best position for my player is to appear in these three squares. If I'm here, it's the top level position because I'll be able to turn and to go directly to go to attack the goal. But it depends what your position, what your abilities, what your skills, and it depends when. Because maybe this position is not good if the ball is here. It's not the good moment to be here. Maybe you have to be here, but when the ball will come here, you will have to make your opponent at a good place. So when we speak about positional superiority, it's to be at the position that creates complex situations for the opponents. So me, for example, if I'm the left wing, do I have to be here, to be here, to be here, to be here? I have to ask myself, where do I have to be set? To help my teammates, but also to create some troubles for the opponents. If my teammate is here and has the ball, if I'm here, it's easy for this opponent because he will be able to look at the ball and to look at me here. But if I move there and I said I'm positioned there, I will put a trouble to him because he will looking at the ball, but if you want to look at me, I'm behind him. So he will have to make a choice. And that's what we teach to our player. You have to move to make trouble to your direct opponent first, but also to be able to help well your teammate. So there's a lot of situations depending where we are on the pitch, who has the ball, and so this is the superiority aspect. So now the systems. So with my players, we choose to play two different systems: 3-5-2 and 4-4-2 diamond. And with my colleagues after, they will learn other systems. And it's a choice to not to do all maybe 4 or 5 different systems a season. Maybe 2 is quite good and enough. So first of course I explain them the system and the posts and the strengths and the weaknesses of each system. And so for the offensive animation, we will have to use the OL organization principle to follow it. It's common to all the teams in the club, but also my rules of action for my team. That's the coach aspect. Remember I told you it's 50% of the OL DNA, OL principle, but also a part of the coach experience, the coach feeling, and then we speak about the transitions too. So for 3-5-2 and 4-4-2 diamond, with the corridors we have seen at the beginning of the slide. So we explain where the players have to be set. So that's it. So, for example, I want the 3 midfielders are set like this. 2 or 1 in front of the midfielder line, opponent, and 1 behind the midfielder line, and not like this. We have to have midfielders behind and below the midfielder line to create spacing. the same for the opponent defensive line. Not only players who are behind the defender, but also below. I will tell you why later. So we explained at each bowling seat how we have to be set to build the game and we start from our goalkeeper. So here I just did screenshot, but for my player we have animation like it comes from the PowerPoint application. The players can move so you understand better. So what is important to explain also is we have different steps with the systems. And we have to have different level of building. And for example, so for the 352 it's 5 steps, and in the 442 diamonds it's 4 steps. So goalkeeper, for the 442 diamond is goalkeeper, the defender, the number 6, the 2 midfielder in the middle, number 8, the number 10, offensive midfielder, and the forwards. So 6 different kind of steps. So how we have to be set when we are in the opponent side too. It's not the same position. And so we have to be to occupy all the corridors. You understand that yes, when we are there, we need the 2 wingers open up near the line. And so I will not precise every situation, but it helps the team that to know where I have to be set and where my teammates will be set when we are in this situation. So also, that's a specific subject about that we have to have one forward who is behind the defensive lane. So she is outside right now. Okay? But that's what we want to do. To have always one could be a wing, could be a striker, forward, who is behind the line. Not always. I go outside and I reappear between the defensive line and the midfield line. Yes. It's directly with the intelligence, the sensibility of the player, that we have to play with that, with the defenders, like the game of the cat and the mouse. Yeah, so I'm forward, so the defender say, oh, it's forward, so I don't care about her, and I'm looking the ball. Yes, but I will reappear, and you will not know that I'm reappearing maybe 10 meters. And so when I'm reappearing, another one can do it. So it's about to create troubles for the opponent. Because if the central defender is here, if I'm the striker and it's there, always too easy for him, and I'm not making troubles. That's one example. And what is very important is the role also of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is first a soccer player, and then he's also a goalkeeper, but he's able to play as a defender, for example, and he is not staying in his penalty box. When we have the ball in the opponent side, we want her that she's very, very high as a central defender, and we play 11 against 10 because their goalkeeper is on our line. So that was my team, 18 players, 13 and 14 years old. And so I had the specific rules of action. So that's precisely how I feel soccer. So I asked them to only short and fast ball movement on the ground. A lot of coaches, my colleagues say in Julien that sometimes the game is to put the ball in the air behind the defensive line for the wing is doing a run. And they say yes, sometimes it's true that you have to do it. But like every rules, you have exceptions. So the rule is we play 99% of the time by keeping the ball on the ground, always. We have so much thing to do by keeping the ball on the ground and to do short passes, one touches, like this. And sometimes when the game is asking it, we will be able to make a long pass. So it could be understood that it's very strict, but it's not as strict. But what I want is not a long ball every time. So we think of soccer as a game of avoidance. We avoid the opponents. Most of the time we can hear that soccer is a sport of rules. You have to win with rules, with the opponents, be strong, and to protect the ball. Yes, we can sometimes teach that. But when you have the ball, I said to my player, you have to imagine it as a sport of avoidance. You have to avoid the opponent, so to play between the opponents in the space. And the opponent is great when he is not able to steal the ball. To maintain the rhythm, limit the throw-ins and do them quickly. Yes. So every time the ball is out of the pitch, and every time you are doing falls, it cuts the rhythm if you want to impose a high rhythm. So I said to my player, we have to keep the ball on the ground, and we don't have to make falls. And if the opponent is making falls, you have to take the ball and to play quickly to be the master of the rhythm you want to have. It's a kind of discipline style, but it depends which soccer you want to practice. Our keeper always gives back the ball with a short pass on the ground. Yes, when we have goal kick, never a long air, never. Even if it's hard, as we are in a development process, when there are U9, U10, U11, the goalkeeper makes a short pass to the defender. If he don't do it well, we lose the ball, and it's a goal. Okay, we have to consider that they will make mistakes when they are. I remind you that our girls play against boys and at the best level, so it's hard, and we have to accept and to welcome mistakes. Because maybe when they be U9, U10, U11, we'll have some mistakes, but after that, in U12, U13, U14, as they used to play like this, they will be experts to build the game from the goalkeeper. Game in position, okay. When the game is closed, you have to go back and to find an opposite direction. Free kicks are played quickly, unless if it's more than 20 meters from the opening goals. So, that's a big subject, but that's my point of view. I asked to my player not to do crosses, because statistically, crosses is maybe the most difficult skill in soccer. You can do it by yourself if you want. I did it. When the wind run with the ball on the wind, and you do a cross, maybe you need maybe 100 crosses to make one goal. It depends on which crosses you are doing. But me, I was asking to my player not to do crosses. From this area. Keep in mind that they are 13 and 14 years old. So to be able to do a cross, maybe a lot of them are able to do it, but for a player here to be able to see where the ball will go and to jump, to make a head or a volley at this level, the age group, not a lot of success. So I asked to my players to go like this and to do cross like this. And you have to finish with an easy shot. So we score a lot of goals by doing that and to make a good pass to finish. That typically, that's my advice, and it's specific to my team, but other coaches in my club don't think like it. Maybe it's good to not have the same approach. Free space in front of you, run with the ball. It's maybe for you can see, imagine it's normal to say that, but I will, on the game model, I want to write everything, even if it seems very normal. That's another special rules. 1v1 against the keeper. So I'm telling if I dribble and I run fast and there's no defender behind me, it's a 1v1 versus the goalkeeper. I ask them not to shout, because the goalkeeper normally go out from his goal and you don't have a lot of space to score. So I ask them to dribble the goalkeeper and then to make a pass on the empty goals. I think if you are doing 10 attempts against the goalkeeper in 1v1, if the 10 times you make a fake and you dribble and you make a pass in the empty goals, you will succeed maybe 9 times out of 10. Master your game since the young age, to ask them to make fake passes, fake movement with their body, and fake, we don't have the time to fake throwing. For example, I say to my player, always when you are doing a throwing, before to do the real throwing, you have to do a fake one. So you are my favorite opponent, sorry. You are my favorite opponent. So I have the ball here, you are my opponent, and so I'm doing that. So you will make 2 steps like this, and you will not be able to, you will be late to defend easy. But if you do it always in all games, in all seasons, it makes a big difference. And still in the mentality to make you some troubles. Because if I don't do fake, you will understand my game easily. And when I'm doing that, the fake, my teammates know that I'm doing the fake. So she doesn't start the run when I'm doing that, but she starts a run when I've done the fake. So there's a lot of process like this, but with the addition of these little rules, it creates your own identity. So I remember again, it was girls against boys, so it's never easy. It's always a fight. So I asked her you have to protect yourself with your body. I don't know how to say that, but with your muscle, you know, when you are like this, be able to not to fall down when the boys are coming to push you. And you have also to protect well the ball with your body. And it's important to not lose the balls too easily with balls. These red areas. So, these red areas, I said to my player, we can go to play in these red areas, but we don't have to stay in these red areas. If we are going to play with passive or by dribbling the ball in this area, we can stay more than 5 seconds there. And so why? Because it's also the areas where you will lose the ball fast. Because the opponents can press you in this area, and there's a lot of density, and if you don't go out quickly, you will lose the ball. So go there, but go out very quickly. And it's also where we don't have the ball, it's easier the nice areas to steal the ball to the opponent. So now the transition. I explained to my players that the game is a cycle, and you have the ball, you don't have the ball, but between that you have offensive transition and defensive transition. And to be efficient, you have to be able to do it very quickly. And more quickly you are doing the transition, I think the best in Europe. So the rules of 3 seconds. We lose the ball, in 3 seconds we have to be organized to press immediately. And when we steal the ball, in 3 seconds we have to open up and to use all the pitch. So the transition, how many, David, where are you? How many minutes remaining?
17 minutes. 17 minutes.
Really? Oh my God. Oh, so I will skip that. So, just to show you, but it's very decline of. But as it's a video for my girls, it's 5 videos of 10 minutes each one. And I send them to them in September, and they can watch it with their parents. And it's very important because I want to involve the parents too in the project because they have a role. And if you don't give them a role, they will decide their role by themselves. So, and it will help me also because if they understand well what I'm asking to the girls, I hope they will be conveyed by my project, and so they will not say the contrary on the pitch, near the pitch, or at home. So that's why I want to involve them in the project. So yes, just to end. So for all the stop phases, kickoff, throwing, goals, kick, corner kicks, free kicks, we have position. And we have some magic tricks too, but a lot of things. Throwing how we have to defend. And we don't have time. I want to keep 15 minutes to speak about you at that. All my players, we have a video app, and all my players have an account. And so we play on Saturday morning most of the time, and every Sunday evening I send them the video analysis of the game we did the day before, a video of 2 or 3 minutes, that's it. To prepare it is 3 hours of work. Okay, but the girls only have the result. 3 minutes. And during these 3 minutes, you have all the things that the team or the players did very well. And we have to keep in mind very well, and we have to do it again and again and again. And also a part of we didn't do it well, and we have to improve in these aspects. And so you have to know it, to see it, because we have to do better for the next game. So at the end of the season, it's 40 video analysis of all our games during the season. So it helps to develop the tactical experience of the player. Here is an example. This video I did it 5 years ago, and I think it was with my team, U12 team of we played 88. You see 88. So during the COVID, we didn't make games. Okay? And so you will see it's easy. I put a GoPro on the crossbar of the pitch 11-11. So it's a fixed video. But so that's why it's important. You don't need a lot of material to make a good work. And I'll tell you that too. I'm doing that also to have a good, the best referee on the pitch. Because when you play away, you put that, and the ref knows that the game is finished. And normally you have no issues. And if you have issues, you have the video, but not only for the ref, also for the opponent. Because you know sometimes some coaches and boys, when they play against girls and they win, everything is good. But when it's difficult for the boys team because the girls play well, sometimes it's good to have that. Just to have no. So little tips about. So the first one is what is very nice and we have to do it again. So I wrote at below the video what is good and why. So we can do the game. Can you tell me what is good? What did you see? White. So the right wing is open up, is very good. She didn't receive the, oh my goodness, I think I will not stop. I will not stop, but it's starting at the beginning. So I will speak during the video. So the first situation, the winger, she opened up on the width, and she can receive the ball very well. She will not receive the ball, but she's ready to receive. It's perfect. So here, if the goalkeeper plays fast to the player in the middle of the square, and with 3 passes, we have done all the pitch. Here is how she opens up, and she gives the ball to the left foot. So sometimes it's little thing. Here is the goalkeeper would manage all the teammates. Oh, you have to go there, be there, be there. Look at the ball. We don't hear it, but she speaks loud, and that's good. Here, that the goalkeeper don't shoot the easiest pass, but difficult pass over there. She will fix the space, and after she gives the ball to the 3 teammates. Here, it's all the defender open up. And also, of course, so I'm not a video analyst, it's easy, as you can see. But now the forward is offside all the time, because she went forward without looking where is the opponent. She was, yes, sure, and it was the same player. She did it well, and this situation is not good. So for this magic trick, corner kick, we fell, but you can imagine if the timing was good, Normally, the girl who will shoot, she's late of 1 second. But if she was there, she was able to score. So, just to let you know that we can teach a lot of things to our players during the trainings, during the games, after the game is that. So we have many situations that we can, a lot of things to do with our players. So activity reports, each trimestrial, all the coaches are, yes? I have a positive and a negative, yes. And it depends on the game. Normally, it's 50-50, but sometimes you play very well, so you have maybe 80 positive. But I think even the negative tips, I want to transform it like in a positive way, because it's where we have to improve. So normally everything is good for learning. It's good, so we have to keep it. And it was not so nice, so we will work on it to do it very better for the next game. Yes. And so every trimester we have a meeting with all the coaches, and we present our work. So with my team, what I will work for the next 3 months or for the next 3 weeks, for example. Why? Because of my age group, because we have this problem during the games against boys, because we are good in this aspect and we want to be experts, so we work on it to be experts. And why also we choose to not work that, because it's not a priority, because they will see that when they will be, for example, the 4-3-3 system, they will not see it with me, they will see it maybe when they will be U15, U16, U17. So, and you explain to the coach why you are doing that, why you are not doing that, what you do during the training session. For example, why I did this exercise, why I did this one. And you explain also what was a success, what was your difficulty too. And it creates the exchange. Because you present, so it's lasting 1.5 hours. So you present and the coaches ask you why you do that. Why you do that, and you have to argument, and after, that's their turn. So then I'm sitting there and I'm asking questions, and with kindness, of course, but it's like a formation. And it's very, so you know what your team, your colleagues are doing with their group, and it gives you some good advice to, I want to work that also with my players, or I don't want to work that because it's not my sensation, or it's for all the players. So, you explain your exercise and you explain why you are working on that. So, 5-6 minutes remaining, yes? Perfect. I will do the job for the timing. So at the Christmas vacation and in May we are meeting with the players and their parents. And at the beginning of my career, for a lot of seasons, I did a sheet with a lot of info. And what is your weaknesses, your strengths, and a lot of things. And so the player was sitting down in front of me and was listening to me passively and the parents' advice. And so it was like this during 20 or 30 minutes. And so now it's not how I see the things, because I think he has to take care about his own formation. So now I give 1 week before the meeting this document, and she has to fill it, fill up it for the technical skill, for example. I'm good in that. I'm not so good in that. And she gave it to me, and we speak with this document, and we create the opportunity to exchange about that. And I think it's better to give them the... So, a lot of starts with injuries, with time of playing during the game, also athletics info, and the perspectives for each player. Because I was the coach of the U14 girls team 3 years ago, but I was also the head of the youth development program, so 6 coaches. I take care of 6 coaches, and together we have meetings about exercises, and we created a base of exercises we like, our favorite exercises. And as an exercise for me to improve my English, to be able to speak Portuguese today, I did a YouTube channel. It's called Julien. I did it in English. I don't like to hear me, but I will show you, for example, to explain to the coach. Today, the new coach who is coming at the academy. I have this base of exercise he can use for his own. So, for example, this exercise, a big square, so 2 area, 2 score points, orange one and yellow one. It's again between 7 yellows and 7 orange, and you can add 1, 2 or 3 naturals depending on the level of your players. And the goal is to go back and forth from one area to the other area without losing the ball. You make a point, 1 point. And so the yellow teams have to steal the ball and to do the same, but in a different way. And so after I explain how you have to manage this exercise, to take care about the offensive aspects, defensive aspects, how you have to be organized to defend, how the principle you have to use to go back and forth. Like in relationship with all the things I told you during the Symposium games, with the corridors, you know, what is my role, everything. So, it's on YouTube. And I think the timing is very expected. It was a pleasure to be here. I will be there for the next 14 days. To have this time with you, and I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you will some slides you liked it, and maybe it will be useful for your own project in your clubs. So I thank you all for your listening and for your questions too. It was nice. And here as my contact, if you want to keep in touch for the future, to send me an email or to write me on WhatsApp, and it will be a pleasure to keep in touch with you.